Welcome to Shop Talk Live, episode number 347. Today, we have a chill episode. A lot of it is Amanda, Owen, and I discussing our shop hopes and dreams, the future, realistic and imagined. And it's just a casual conversation with three woodworking pals. So if you're into that sort of thing, awesome. Real quick, this is going to be, I swear, this is the last time we are uploading this video to the Fine Woodworking YouTube channel. We really need to work the algorithm a little bit more. And if you want to see these videos, head on over to youtube.com/shoptalklive and you need to subscribe there. So the podcast is heading over to Shop Talk Live channel. Please head over there and follow suit. Woodworking in America, October 9th and 10th, Des Moines, Iowa. We had a heck of a good time last year. We're going to have a heck of a good time this year. And if you need to hear me say it again, I'm just going to say heck, because why not? That's always fun to say, right? Also, new e-learning course alert. Larissa Huff's Creative Box Making. It's all of her fundamental techniques and tricks for making boxes, paired with how she does things a little bit off the beaten path, gets creative with things, expresses things, tries things out in her box making. So if you are a fan of the podcast, you're a fan of Larissa Huff, and you should head on over to finewoodworking.com/e-learning and find out more about that upcoming course. So please do it. finewoodworking.com/e-learning. Check it out. Woodworkinginamerica.com. Check it out. Check out the rest of the episode. Boom. So Owen, of the so you are in the middle of buying a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you at the point where you are like, you haven't closed or anything yet, right?
We haven't closed, but we put paint colors on the wall. We swatched the wall. So we're like, we're there. Yeah, It's a couple weeks, but we're pretty much there.
Yeah. So paint colors or paint swatches is a moniker or a line in the sand.
Yeah, that exactly. It's like, this is now ours. As I put this color I don't actually like on the wall.
So what's the shop situation at the new place?
So it's detached 1-car garage.
Okay.
Which I'm excited for, because people usually think, oh no, small shop is horrible. But coming from, last shop I was at, 10,000 square feet. Shop before that, 100,000 square feet. Like, I've been in these monstrous, like, factory settings. And I'm looking forward to have like a neat, tight little space that's just all my own. So,
yeah, like a 1-car garage sounds like a fine size shop, especially for. So what are you gonna outfit it with?
So I'm
gonna slider in there and calling up SCMI right now.
I'm going to open up the door and it's going to be all CNC and just slide in the sheet of plywood, close the door, come back. I'm going to go pretty off grid, I think. Not super off grid, but I want to focus on hand tools a lot more. So definitely bench and shave horse. And then probably just for ease, I want to have a bandsaw and a lathe. But I think that's pretty much going to be it.
Oh, you're even like talking yourself into a bandsaw. Like you're even...
Yeah.
Like in your heart, you're not using a bandsaw.
I would like to not for like a year or so and see how it goes. Wow. Just, survival mode. See if I can do it or if I freak out.
So you're going to try and do no bandsaw?
I just look at Peter Follansbee as like this looks perfect to me. I look at his shop. I look at that piece that he built on the cover of, you probably know what issue number that is, but I'm like,
I'm not Pekovich.
If he can do that, like nobody's making that good of stuff in shops with. It's like, let's just try it. Let's give it a crack, you know? So we'll see. But it needs like, the first thing is I need to like lay some insulation down,
Yeah.
put a floor down.
No floor. Okay.
It's like a garage. So my plan is to take out the garage door and put in a bank of windows and then put like an entry door on the side.
Okay.
It needs some, it's like beautiful. It's covered in ivy. There's an apple tree next to it. It's like idyllic. I want to turn it into like this little hobbit cottage thing. And, yeah, so, but it needs a little structural work. So some cable ties across the length and,
yeah.
But it's got it's actually quite a tall roof. So it'll have room for a lumber stash up above. And it's,
wow. Okay.
It's something. But there's a lot of upfront work before I start. But if it's just a shave horse and a bench and, some just work holding stuff.
Do you have a bench?
I do. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just going to move the new, you're not like I'm building a new Rubo off of the oak.
No. Okay. I'm going to fell a tree.
Yeah. You're like,
yeah.
We bought the house because there's an old oak tree that needs to be taken down, and that will be the bench that will be the basis of building the rest of the furniture for the house.
I'm wholesome, but not quite that wholesome.
Okay. Heard that.
No, I have a bench. Yeah, but it's like, it'd be nice to have an assembly bench and a working bench, so it's like, am I ruling out building another something different, No, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
And what kind of furniture are you hoping to, or what kind of woodworking are you hoping to do in this shop?
I'm going to just try to do, I'm going to say this and then it's not ever going to happen, but I'm going to try to make some chairs, try to get heavy into the Windsor era of my life, I think. And continue to just make like simple casework stuff, maybe some simple form, whatever. But I really want to do some curves and some funky shapes. Get out of this square stock lifestyle that I've been in.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I've been jonesing to make a chair too. I for probably a few years now, I have not really yearned to make a piece of furniture. So I haven't. I've only made furniture-ish things that were requested. And I think I spent too much time, especially the early time at Fine Woodworking, like trying to talk myself into being like a lover of furniture. And I was a lover of woodworking more so than a lover of furniture. And so then that's, then the Lutherie thing came about and blah, blah, blah. But I think it was like just a few days ago, I messaged Amanda. I was like, oh my God, I actually want to build a piece of furniture. Like all of a sudden it hit me. Oh, our house needs that. And I have ideas and like, I have solid thoughts on what I want it to be and blah, it's like, it doesn't happen very often. And then now I'm going over video edits of an e-learning course with Jeff Wyatt building a Windsor chair, and all of a sudden I'm wanting to like break out my shave horse, which has been put away, and all of a sudden there's a lot of like just woodworking creativity or desire flowing through that hasn't been there for a while, and I'm excited about it. So I'm thinking I'm gonna make a. Eventually, I'd like to make one of Curtis Buchanan's Democratic chairs.
Yeah, that's like, those are so beautiful.
I mean, it also doesn't help that we just had family visit, and so all of the chairs wind up in the house, wind up in the dining room, and there was only one that was not, one and a half that were not embarrassing, and it was just like, this is sad that I'm a woodworker and like declaring which chair which particular person can sit on because that one needs to be re-glued and this one doesn't, and so we'll see. All right, so I was curious though. So, Owen, you are on the verge of new shop life. Amanda, you're, I mean, I guess nothing's set in stone, but you're going to be changing shop situations eventually. Are we okay talking about something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of moving parts right now because I'm also just figuring out like a maybe different living situation. So I don't know. It's and no vehicle, so like pretty limiting on what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts, which is why I don't have too much to contribute right now.
But what would, like, let's say because you've always worked out of large shops.
Relatively. I mean, Phil's wasn't large, but it's a 2-car garage, but large enough to get stuff done.
It looked huge.
It looks huge. It reads way bigger.
Yeah,
that's crazy to hear.
It's pretty much a 2-car garage.
Like a 25 by 25, like
about. Yeah.
Really?
Like when you're in the space, like the slider is about a third of that shop. Was a third of that.
Yeah,
shop.
what we're talking about, because it lives on in our hearts.
Yes.
I'm shocked because I thought that was like at least 2,000 square foot shop.
No, not quite. And it was pretty tight with 2 people in there. Like I'm impressed with what we got done in that space. And now I'm in a 1,600 square foot space, which is great for the amount of people and stuff. I don't necessarily need all that space. And it does fill up pretty quickly.
So like if you were going to go to a 1-car garage situation, I said that funny, situation, what would your tooling look like? Because yeah,
I mean, I'd probably focus on a bandsaw. I think I'm kind of like where Owen is right now, where if I had access to a machine shop, because I do a lot of machining, and then a small space that I could work on my own things, I would be pretty content. And I've even been looking at like maker spaces that have like a little like 8 by 8 foot bench space with the machine shop adjacent to it.
Like a dedicated, this is Amanda's.
Yeah, this is my bench space.
Okay.
Which is something I've thought about because I do have like the pan router and stuff that I use and need a little bit more space for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with so many moving parts and so many variables, it's really hard to. I feel like survival mode's a good word for it.
Okay.
I may have to shut down the shop for a little bit beginning of next year and just wait till I find something that works. But yeah, lots of moving parts.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah.
I'll say my caveat to the 1-car garage is that I also am part of a maker space that I go do all my milling in.
Yeah.
Because without that, thinking about hand milling boards is a little bit less romantic than the way I think of it now. Hand tool woodworking, it's great when I just go to the shop for an hour and mill everything close to size and then do it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's definitely the caveat. Is that having access to a makerspace is huge if you have a small space to work out of.
Yeah. I think, so this is, I would say my shop is like a 1.5 car garage size. And it's, I wouldn't say tight in here, but it is, I'm limited in space. I'm always thinking like, oh, I would love to have, like I dream of having a Hammond glider saw. but there's no real reason for that. So I can't dedicate any space to it.
They're so small. They're like
yeah, but
2 by 2.
But that's space is taken up
I know,
with something,
precious space.
I dream of having a 6-inch, a 6x42 belt sander. I think I've sent Amanda like 20 listings in the past year, and I just don't necessarily have the space for it. So everything that I have in here has to be very, very, very deliberate. But I'm able to make it work. It's comfortable. I think that most of what I do in here, I'm not limited by my shop. That said, like you, I do all my milling at the fine woodworking shop. And I don't know what I would do, because I've seen more than a few people say or ask me, hey, I know you have I have a 8-inch cut tech benchtop joiner. And they're like, oh, well, you have one. What do you think of it? And it's like, I've used it maybe twice. It's in the corner and I never really wheel it out, because if I need to go mill something, I go down to the fine woodworking shop and I mill it there. So like, maybe once you cut the milling equation out of your small shop, everything becomes more doable.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I remember the first shop I worked at, it was like, 6-inch joiner pushed against the wall with barely any in feed or out feed. And then like we made the flip top cart with the oscillating sander and the the lunchbox planer, the DeWalt, whatever number that is. And it was like, even then, it was a 2-car garage. It was jammed all the time. It was crazy.
I've never worked with a flip top cart or anything like that, and I've always thought they look like more trouble than they're worth. Was it worth doing?
Yeah, it was worth doing. I mean, it stayed mostly benchtop planer. Yeah. And then every once in a while you're like, dang, I need that oscillating sander. Okay, flip it over. But it's fine. I love little tool carts. Do you guys hear my dog snoring or no?
No.
He is like out like a light, and he's snoring so loud. Okay, good. Yeah, the flip tops are nice. It's like chop saws too. I like the carts with the little fold out wing, like tuck it away. How often are you really using a chop saw? I don't know. Depends on what you're doing, but mobility in those small shops is key, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you, Amanda, have you ever had flip top carts or anything like that, or so it's just been laid out?
No, I used to work in which I had a ton of space in that shop. But April Wilkerson, who's like a YouTube, but a lot of her projects work like cart and like garage friendly stuff. And I was like, oh, this is useful. We have all this space. We don't need necessarily to do it. But I can see this being a very useful thing in a small space where you can tuck things away and, just have that room too. Is like, even if you have a DeWalt planer or whatever, like sometimes it is, and it became an issue in Phil's shop of like in feed and out feed, and just the ability to move stuff around, I think is pretty great. And if I had a small shop, I'd definitely put as much stuff on wheels as possible. So
I think the tool that bothers the footprint of the tool that bothers me the most is my belt sander or my drum sander. It just because that motor hanging off the side, it takes up a lot of space, and I've eyed it up a lot of times, wondering like if I built a cart under that, could I then store this or could I then store that? But so everything else that I would store under there, I need top access to. So like my jointer, obviously I need access to that. So like I could put it on a slide, I guess, like drawer slides, pull it out. I remember Rachel Moody used to have her benchtop joiner in a situation like that. Seems like it would be a little less than ideal. Right now, I just store my benchtop planer under the drum sander, but that's a pain in the butt to access. Yeah. And it's like I need to get to that top handle. I just can't figure out what to do with that space under a belt sander or a drum sander. One of these days I'll get that right. Under a drum sander, because it just does not seem like a great spot for anything that I need other than build a bank of drawers and have it be storage. I don't know.
Yeah, because you have like the metal like angled legs.
Yeah.
On that. Yeah. You can always take it off that.
Yeah, those things just hurt my soul. Like the waste of space that is angled metal legs at the bottom of a piece of machinery is just the worst. I understand why it happens, but I don't like it.
Yeah. Ben, what would you like? So Trimo saw, the Hammond.
Okay.
What else would you add?
All right. If we're like talking about
like empty out and start over.
What would be your situation?
All right. So I have debated moving my CNC into, I have another bay of the shop that is walled off, and was supposed to be, well, it is for, snowblower and camping equipment and Katie's, craft show stuff. I've debated moving the CNC into that area. And I have started to realize that I store too many things in the day-to-day working environment of my shop. And those could probably get into those could get moved into a deeper storage. Which is kind of silly because Amanda, you just recently did an e-letter of my storage system. And I needed reminding of that, where it's like I talk about, don't have something within arm's reach that you only use once a year. Mm-hmm. Move some stuff into deeper storage and make your day-to-day working environment better. I have like a box of drawer pulls that I've just looked over. I see a box labeled drawer pulls, and I know I haven't gone in there in 4 years, so those don't need to be that close to me right now. Mm-hmm. But a Hammond glider is one of those tools that is just the cool factor outweighs the functionality or anything else about it. I just want one in my life at some point. I don't need it at all, but I just want one. It's kind of cliche at this point for me to say more Inca stuff. I'm just a fan of Inca. I want the little Inca bandsaw. I just want it. If there was an Inca jointer planer combo that I could stomach the price of, I would sell my jointer and my planer and get that in. So that would be a wash, I think. I'd move jointer and planer out. I'm not bringing anything in it. But the Inca bandsaw, I would really like to have a small milling machine, like metal milling machine, for just doing like really weird random bits of hardware and precise drilling and things like that. I think the Hammond glider and a small milling machine would be the two things that, if I could fit it into this shop in a way that didn't hamper everything else, I'd find a way of doing it.
Yeah, the small milling machine is awesome. That would be a huge game changer.
Yeah, I just I find myself having to do too many weird things in my lutherie and building robots and all that stuff where it's like the ability to accurately and precisely drill holes in steel would be really stinking nice. I can do it in aluminum on the CNC, but there are just some times when. But also, I swear, I watch too much machinery or machining on YouTube, and I know that it is a rabbit hole that I don't want to go down. I know that I do not want a mess of ER whatever collets lying around for me to be able to do all of these, the whole thing. It's not needed. I say I want it, but I don't think I would have the guts even if I had, because it's just, I don't need any more rabbit holes in my life. I have too many.
I watch the guys who make, who like restore watches, and they make the little old watch parts for the watch out on the milling machines. I'm just like,
it's so cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's like I want to get good at woodworking, really good at woodworking first. But totally, I get that.
You say that though, but so much of what you do in woodworking is working with brass and.
I know, right now. And like, funny enough, I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, but my grandfather, so when I was like 13, 14, my grandfather restored antique clocks. So he would do all the little gears and all the little metalworking and woodworking. So he had a little bit of both in his shop. And I was supposed to take that on. Like, I was really enthusiastic about it. So it kind of feels like I'm going back to that a little bit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm just, and he was a mechanic and, did a little of everything. And so I feel like that comes a little bit from there. Just observing that.
Yeah. Like, did he have a machine shop set up or was he
a small machine garage shop. So he had all the woodworking tools, basics, bandsaw, table saw, little, I think, combo joiner planer, and then like little machining tools for everything. So I was in a lathe. You do all the finials and so I did a little bit of everything.
Nice.
I would love to get into like machining if I could, but that requires almost a whole separate space and
I watch enough of it on YouTube to know that there's just too many little side quest tools and everything. And like I've been very, very deliberate lately with my woodworking tools where I get rid of the things I'm not using. I try and only, I might have overdone that a little bit because all of a sudden I'm sitting there thinking like, well, maybe I need to get a Travisher again, even though I sold my Travisher like maybe 2 years ago, but like, I feel like with machine shop stuff, I would very, very quickly start acquiring tools that I would need to sell again in 4 years because I didn't really need that thing. So
I think that's starting any shop though, because you don't know where you're headed, right? Like you're like, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. I got to try it. So you'll probably end up selling something eventually.
True.
Ben, you said something funny, not funny, but something that I related to. You were saying that you want all Inca.
Yeah.
They're just something about
they're cool.
Like Inca's awesome, but just even like my okay, we're going theoretical dream shop.
Oh,
all the tools would be like the same manufacturer.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
Because then it's one number you're calling.
Yep.
When you have to pick
That's
them.
smart. Yeah.
Is that like everybody else feels that way too, or?
Okay, but what? Okay, I've dreamed of having like an all 50s Delta shop.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like,
I can see that.
Like the old Unisaw modern fence, okay, and with a riving knife or like an Arc Shark guard. I had the Unisaw, not that old, but like the Art Deco style Delta things.
Yeah.
Come on, all of them.
Really nice. I don't know. The new Martin stuff gets me. The Martin shapers, joiners, planers, table saw. That's like the
Yeah.
color palette, the machining, the design. It's so good.
Yeah, I agree. Totally.
You guys you probably just saw the whole Martin booth.
I don't
Were
think
they
they were
at,
there.
I don't
they
know if
weren't
they were
there?
there.
Oh,
I don't think so.
AWFS was pretty tiny this year.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little, I don't want to say worrying.
Yeah.
It was just a little, okay. It's a time right now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was really not many big tool manufacturers there. Like even Amanda, like Felder was there, but a very small showing, right?
Yeah. And I spoke
Altendorf was
with
there.
Altendorf was there. There's pretty small too.
SCMI was there.
Mm-hmm.
Small.
Yeah.
And generally I walk right past that stuff because like while it's cool and everything, I'm there for other reasons. You
Right.
know, it's like I'm trying to find stuff for the readers and the viewers. But yeah, it's so funny for you to say that though, because my brain, whenever I think of like having a shop outfitted with all one manufacturer, it's never a modern thing. Like I would love to have all green, made in Smyrna, Tennessee Powermatics, like green with the white stripes. That's just from an aesthetic standpoint, just sexy as hell to me.
No, I agree.
But the Martin thing, I don't even know what it looks like, so I can't.
It's beautiful. You'll love it.
Yeah.
The tilting spindle shaper, and they're shaped like, I mean, I used to make a lot of stuff on the shaper when we made doors and windows and stuff. But so you know that when you're using a shaper, it's great to have a sacrificial fence, so your part runs along the fence the whole time. Well, they made this new system that's like these fingers. It's like aluminum fingers that flip over. So it's a continuous fence, and you don't have to make a sacrificial one every single time. I'm like, that's a dream.
Yeah.
See, you two are about the only people I know who aren't afraid of shapers on staff, at least. So like, this is just a conversation. I don't want any part of it. No, thank you.
Yeah. It's
and both
the
of
router.
It's safe in some cases, safer than a router table.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before, right? Maybe in person.
Maybe, yeah. You and I probably have talked about it, but yeah. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's something about to me, it feels safer.
Yeah.
Even with the insert knives and stuff like that, it still feels safer than a collet.
Yeah, you're taking a lot less of a bite with a big, giant spindle, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just the size of it. It's a lot less of a, we talked about this, but yeah, can't think of the words right now. Yeah, it does feel safer in some situations.
All right, so I did a Google image search on Martin, and or I just did Martin spindle shaper, and because that's what you were actually saying while I was doing it, and yeah, there's a visual aesthetic there that is,
they do it. Yeah,
it's very deliberate. Yep.
Yeah, it's done well.
Amanda, what would your single brand shop be?
I don't know. I like the Martin stuff, but I'm on the fence. I don't know. I think it'd be a mix of things.
Okay.
I don't know that I'd be set on one brand.
I was hoping you'd say Minimax for like another outside the box.
No, I don't know that I've thought about like getting one single brand. There's stuff I like from a little of everything. So yeah, I haven't even, I've been in this shop 2.5 years, and I haven't even gotten, I kind of feel bad because Eric and Larissa are so like deliberate about how they decorate their space. And I'm just kind of like, whatever, in the corner. Like, sorry, Eric, your YouTube content doesn't look that great from this angle, but yeah, I haven't quite gotten that far.
You're just there to get stuff done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah, the aesthetic versus actually getting stuff done is two different portions of the shop. That's where the dream portion comes in, is
Right.
I wish it would look this good. It just doesn't.
I always think that I'm gonna set up like stations, and everything's gonna wind up confined to that station. It's like, I have like a little electronics bench, and
Cool.
nope, that gets covered up. Like I've got stuff all over my main workbench now, and all over the window workbench, and I can set up stations as much as I want, and it's well intentioned, but I just know that it's going to bleed all over the shop. Whatever I'm working on winds up all over the shop, and um, I'm okay with it now. It's like, even though I know like Vic is going to give me a hard time for the state of my podcast backdrop, like it's just always. It's indicative of the work I'm doing, and I'm working, it's something. So I'd rather have that than a perfectly clean shop, because for me, that is a perfectly clean shop means I'm not doing much. So
Yeah.
And
I've
that's a
seen
good
some
point.
shops of some really good makers that are just like a bomb went off, but they're still producing the best stuff you've ever seen.
Yeah. I kind of feel that's why, like what Owen's talking about, appeals to me a little bit, though, because I feel like if I had access to machines, I could get that milling and kind of, because those are almost separate in my mind, like getting milling and stock prepared and then being at my bench is like, can be distracting. Because then I'm like, well, maybe I'd be more productive going back to the machines and like getting something else done. And then I have like 3 projects in the same stage, and then there's no room for it,
yeah.
To where if I
Yeah.
separated the mental space between the two, I might be able to focus better. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, because
It does.
you're in this shop, so like you're not worried about milling, you're not worried about whatever. You're worrying
Right.
about like your bench space hand tool work, which is for fit and finish and joinery or something,
Mhm.
But you would need a bandsaw though, Amanda, wouldn't
At the
you?
very least, yeah.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing you can handle being more than 50 feet away from a bandsaw at any time.
Yeah. Yeah. I would need one.
Yeah.
I do like the shared space I work out of is 2 floors, and it's like first floor is all machine room, second floor is all benches and hand tools, and it's like, this is really nice. It keeps all the dust out of when you're just trying to dust and noise out of trying to focus, but
Mhm.
like you compartmentalize the two things. I get all my parts stocked and prep stock ready to go, and then I go upstairs and do the layout and do all that. And it's like, yes, like Amanda's, 2 different things, 2 different floors, or in the future now, shop house.
Yeah. And I
How-
even like I had to move my CNC right behind my bench, and I'm like, I think about it, and I'm like, I'll never get anything done if that CNC is going.
yeah.
Like that's all that's going to be happening, or I have to just like have that going and be doing sitting there waiting. I don't know.
So like I have had moments of the CNC Dream where it's like this doubles my the amount of work I'm able to do at a time, right? And that's not the case at all most of the time, because the CNC is at the hobby CNC level. You can't walk away. You can't,
Right.
like you're constantly like trying to push it a little bit faster than it really probably needs to go, which is stupid because whatever. But I have had moments of milling out like a ukulele bridge on the CNC while I'm doing fret work or something, and all of a sudden it was like the work that I was doing at the bench was mindless enough that I was able to dedicate the 12% of my being to paying attention to the CNC and still keep going at my bench work.
Okay.
But it's taken me a good while to get there, where like I trust my setups, I trust my feeds and speeds, I trust the CNC work enough to know, okay, that's going, that's fine. You don't have to stand there and watch it. So,
but Amanda, it's like over your shoulder, isn't it? Like at
Yeah,
the bench.
it's like, right. And I guess like I could set it up to where my bench is facing the CNC, and I'd feel maybe it's just a matter of like learning how to do that and doing something hand sanding or something mindless. But yeah, when I start thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be like productive as I thought it was going to be. So, but yeah, you also do have to like pay attention to it. It's not something you plug in and walk away from regardless. So that's a good point. Like maybe it's just, okay, that's when I'm hand sanding stuff.
yeah. Owen, you've spent more than your fair share of time babysitting a CNC. Is
Mhm.
in an industrial setting, is it are you staring at it still?
It really depends. No, usually in an industrial setting, what you're doing is you're taking the piece that just ran and, organizing it, putting it wherever it's going to go. Maybe it needs a sticker. Maybe it needs like a little sanding from some fluffiness, whatever. And then you're prepping the next piece. So you're finding whatever the next one, you're pulling up the code for that and you're making sure that's all ready. So right when that next piece is done, it comes out and you're kind of always in a spinning wheel.
Okay.
The added portion to that is on industrial CNCs, it's like you want to go as fast as you can, right? So instead of programming your feeds and speeds like differently for different cutters, usually they're all revved up pretty high and you're tuning it with the remote up or down to be like, okay, I know it's about to come around a corner and hit some end grain, so I'm going to turn my feed rate down a little bit. It's going to keep the same RPM, but it won't burn. You find your measurements, you do it all by ear, and you just kind of like, okay, I'm going to knock it down to 75% there, just so you can really crank out because it is so much production. And
but wouldn't
maybe
that be
not
easier to program that into the cam work, or
it's hard because it's different for every piece, especially when I was doing solid wood
okay
doors.
Oh,
You'd
right.
come around the end grain and we'd be coping all our pieces and every piece was different. We were mostly doing mahogany, but sometimes teak, and they would change. Program would be the same, but the material would change.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so instead, and that's like this was, programs that were probably written in like 2007 or 8.
Okay.
So going in and adjusting them would almost be a complete failure. But yeah, you just like pay attention, listen to it and adjust. But I think it also keeps you kind of like on your toes because at least you're only going through one part that might slip if you're doing a vacuum hold down or, something that might tear out. I don't know. It keeps it kind of feeling like you're doing something too without going insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's my other, keeps people alert because it is, when something breaks on a CNC, it breaks bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when it crashes, it's bad. So the more mindful you are around it, I think the better it is.
Have you ever used a hobby CNC like what I'm using or anything like that? Is it just a totally different game?
It's totally different game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like anything, right? Like a 14-inch bandsaw versus a 36-inch bandsaw.
Sure. Yeah.
Different game.
See, to me, I've never used a 36-inch bandsaw, but like, what's the different mindset when you're at a 36-inch bandsaw as opposed to a 14?
I think you're just adjusting how you're cutting. Like you can be a little bit more like heavy-handed in times, and you can kind of get away with more than you think in the sake of speed.
Gotcha. Okay.
Stepping up to anything with that much cutting power, you are realizing that you're getting a lot more out of what you're doing.
Gotcha.
Right.
And then the opposite side is there's a lot more, not risk, but you can mess things up faster.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
make faster mistakes.
I like making my mistakes nice and slow.
Yep.
Especially at the bandsaw.
Yeah.
All right. You want to talk about your smooth move?
Sure. I don't normally have them, so I'm excited.
Owen doesn't normally have smooth moves. This is so novel that he's made a mistake. So
it is. When you get paid to do stuff, you don't make mistakes. Ever.
So now that you are back to hobbyist woodworker world, the mistakes will start flowing.
Yep. I think that's how it's going to work.
You are, like us, a professional hobbyist woodworker.
Yeah, I would say that. I'm the smooth move we speak of took place making a prototype for a class that I'm going to be teaching.
Okay.
So just like a small cabinet, little wall hanging cabinet, but yeah, super hobbyist. It will be everything will take 10 times as long now, and yeah, probably still be the same quality. Just overthought.
Where are you teaching?
At the shared makerspace, the Saratoga Joinery.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, and it'll be in September if anybody wants to check it out. It's a nice space, but yeah, small cherry wall hanging cabinet. The smooth move is very embarrassing because it's like everything I was taught to do, but also not to do. So, right, small. It's like 12 by 18 by 6 inches deep, just like little cabinet with a single frame and panel door. And the back is fully rabbited into the case. So, on your top and bottoms on the router table, I just set up my 1/2-inch router bit with a 1/2-inch, kind of tongue left. And you could run those all the way through because I'm doing a little kind of like lock rabbit joinery where they come together. So then on the sides, I need to run stop grooves, right? So I'm running a stop groove, and I set my start and stop point. My fence is the same, and when I drop it down and run it, it looked good. It looked right. So I grabbed my second piece, dropped it down, and ran it. And what was happening was the fence was walking. And so as I was going from my first piece to my second piece to my third piece to my fourth piece, I ended up going from a 1/2 inch little tongue to 1 1.25 inches.
Oh no.
And what it was, and I'm so it's so ingrained into me to not over tighten knobs. Like any shop I've worked at, it's always been like, you never over tighten a knob. You come into a shared workspace where you have never worked before, and you realize that not everybody else doesn't so the knob had been hammered down on so much that it had pulled the track out, like the T-track. It was like a little makeshift fence. So it had started pulling it out. And then when that got pushed back down, it pulled out, it just loosened and just the back end just walked out on me. So I completely ruined the whole case, basically, just trying to get the back grooved in there.
Can we touch on something that I don't like? Amanda, you acted like, yes, that is a rule. I've only worked in my shop and the fine woodworking shop where there's nobody setting rules. Never over tighten a knob, because why? Because that?
Amanda, you want to?
I mean, I don't know the science to it. It's just it's not designed to be. Phil was always like that. He's like, it should hold, it's machined or whatever to hold a certain amount of pressure, but you over tighten that, things get worn out. And I mean, I don't know a better way of explaining this, but yeah.
So there's 3 types. I'm going to say 3, and somebody's going to find more, but there's 3 types of knobs I would think of in a regular shop. One is going to be like a threaded insert, right? One's going to be a T-bolt in a track, and one's going to be a cam that's going to cam lock. So your cam lock, if you over tighten that, you're just going to go around the cam and you're going to push out whatever metal's there. So then your cam's never going to work again. And you're going to have to get something remachined, and it's going to be horrible. The T-bolt in the track, you're going to bend the track, you're going to do something like that. And then now whatever you have isn't sitting flat. And then the third, the screw into the threaded insert, you might strip the screw. That's the one that is in most shops. So I think most people, you can crank down on it. You might dent something, but you're not going to do too much damage. So I feel like people do that a lot. Like, okay, I got that, it's cranking, but as I'm denting it, now I have to turn it harder. I'm denting it and turn it harder. Same with the T-track, lifting out, turning harder, lifting out.
Yeah, that's
it's just
like T-track is one of those things. I honestly think that T-track is like fairly overrated in a woodworking shop, because it's so easy to yank it out. It's so it's difficult to attach T-track securely to, everybody's like milling out, a 1/2 inch groove in 3/4 inch MDF and screwing T-track into it. And it's like, there's no strength there. There's, unless you get your T-track perfectly flush to the top surface or something like that, it's always going to pull out.
It's finicky for sure.
Yeah. So are you remaking that cabinet soon?
Yeah, probably tomorrow.
Okay.
That's fun.
And I'll use a potato stack on table saw.
Yeah.
Instead. Or go. Even something as simple as putting a piece of sandpaper on the bottom of that fence would have probably stopped it from walking. But it was just like, that finished surface just slid.
And it is
kind of
tough
like a masonite.
Yeah, and you're in a new space you're not familiar with, and it's easy to do.
Just not, because the thing about shared spaces that's awesome is that there's people there. The thing that's rough about a shared space is that there's people there. So it's like, and I'm in the brain of like talk of looking at the shop, being an ex-foreman, like being like, that person's doing that wrong. I should maybe just say something, or maybe now I shouldn't say something. But so, your attention span isn't directly focused as you would be when you're by yourself. So maybe that's
because your job used to be scanning the room, making sure everything is being done correctly.
Oh, I want to play the game of like, what tool is that somebody just dropped? Because I feel like I'd be really good at it. Or like, what's that whining belt? I know which one it is.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
man.
That's great. All right. So I want to talk about an all-time favorite tool of all time for this week. And it's really two. But I had a moment with my kid at one point where like, so we got an electric screwdriver for robotic stuff because I wanted something smaller. I wanted something, just that took up less space on the bench, blah, blah, blah. And I kept bringing my Milwaukee M12 cordless drill everywhere. And it just seemed overkill. So we got a Dremel electric screwdriver. It has the clutch. It's rechargeable. It is a USB mini as opposed to USB-C, the only downside. But I had a moment with my kid. We were in here working on something. And right after we got it, he goes, I just don't have the connection to it that I do with the red drill yet. And all of a sudden it hit me. It was like, I don't know if there's like a tool in the world that I have as intimate and deep of a connection with as my Milwaukee M12 cordless drill. The impact driver is like in storage. I hate that thing. Be done. Be gone. But the Milwaukee M12 cordless drill, it's to the point where like when I'm taking a drill bit out, I know exactly how much to press the trigger to get it to release and not move any more than it needs to. I can like every move I make with that drill is exactly what I needed, what I meant to do. But over the course of the past few months, this Dremel electric screwdriver has gotten to that point with both of us where we're like, no, I feel a connection to this thing. I know exactly, like I can pick it up and spin it around to the point where my finger's on the button, or if it's not doing the thing I expect it to do, I know exactly where to reach and make it do the thing. And I have absolutely fallen in love with small electric screwdrivers, because if you're doing like a small task, which most of the time you are, if you're screwing in hardware screws or something like that, this thing is perfect. It doesn't need to have all of this torque. It doesn't need to have all of this speed. And it's even gotten to the point now where like the slowness of an electric screwdriver is a little bit like meditative, where it's like, no, this is what I'm doing. I'm here. I'm waiting for this screw to finish unscrewing or screwing in or whatever. So, yeah, I think for too long I've been married to the speed of a 12-volt drill. And now it's like, no, this is fine for some things too. So that is my all-time favorite tool. Like if I had to all-time favorite tool of all time, it would be Milwaukee M12 cordless drill. But for this week or this month, it is my Dremel electric screwdriver. Love that thing.
Those are cool. I like those.
I've never used one, but I like that too. It's like, oh no, I'm screwing something in. And oftentimes we should be going like incredibly slow or carefully with stuff. I've been
especially there. When you're screwing hardware in, especially it's like that speed change is for the overall good. So, yeah. Amanda, do you have a tool or anything?
So it's kind of in the vein of everything we've been talking about, but I'm just, so for Woodworking in America this year, in October, I'll be talking about small production runs. And one thing I haven't had in our shop that drives me crazy, and I have just not taken the time to make one, is a parts cart. And in Phil's shop, we had a little like Harbor Freight thing, but I've had a design in mind for what would fit everything I needed. And, like hold my tape measure and hold my pencils that I forget at my bench every time I walk over to the machine section of the shop, and just have everything I need right there and be able to, be pushed around the shop pretty easily. Because with small production runs, that's what drives me crazy, is carrying lumber from one machine to the next. Having boards, like one thing I plan on talking about is having your material oriented the correct direction when you're going to your next machine, so you're keeping track of what edge, and having everything oriented on a cart is such a huge time saver and not something I've taken time to make. So I've been designing one for the upcoming thing.
So what's the difference? Because you have like those Rubbermaid commercial carts in the shop. Yeah. What's the difference between that and a parts cart?
A smaller one, more shelves, so you can have things in different stages.
Okay.
And then the little, I like how you have that that bag that you carry around.
Oh, yeah.
That has everything where it's supposed to go. And I feel like I'll sometimes have my tool pouch on me, but sometimes I don't. And I just have my tape measure hanging from my pocket. But I don't like having stuff hanging off me that much when I'm milling a bunch of stuff. It just gets in the way. So having just designated spots on either side of the cart for things that I'm going to need, a little clipboard, and keeping track of those things. And it's right there on the cart. And the ends of those parts are visible. Like I label everything, so I know what stage they're in. And yeah, so something that just makes even in a small shop, something like that more efficient. You're not at the end of the day having to go and put that on a pair of sawhorses or your bench somewhere. So, it's multifunctional.
I like the idea of more shelves. Yeah. That is like a deliberate, because you've got that wasted. I used to have a small commercial cart in here, and it was a waste of space under the top. And okay. Did you see Brian Boggs's his shop cart article?
I'm not sure.
You should check it out, because like there was like one of those. Okay, he's been designing this in his head for like 35 years.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I'll have to look.
It is like the most deliberate shop cart I've ever seen. Where it's like, and it's Brian Boggs, so like everything has a perfect decision made behind it. There's a reason for every decision. So, I'm excited to see what you come up with for a parts cart.
Yeah. But that's something I've needed since I've been in there. And I'm like, I just need to do it. And that can go with me anywhere, you know?
Yeah. Cool.
That's awesome.
Dig it.
What about you, Owen?
Tool?
Oh, he already did a smooth move.
I did smooth move.
Smooth if that counts. Yeah.
I could say Lee Nielsen carcass saw really quick.
Oh, nice.
Megan Fitzpatrick has me totally transformed into, if I'm doing like one or two cases, and this is what I should have done, is cut all your datas and groups by hand. So it's so easy. It's so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy, especially if you're dealing with stuff that might vary in thickness a little.
Okay.
I'm just cutting joinery by hand from now on. No more fences walking on them. Can only blame myself if I do it wrong.
See, I don't like that. I like having a machine to blame it on.
Still have to blame myself on that one.
Right? Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
I could yell at the machine.
Yeah, get all the variables, please.
All right. Okay, so I thought it would be interesting to. Oh, that's what was making noise. It was Discord. I couldn't identify the noise that was happening in my headphones. I thought we should really quickly talk about this question on Discord that has now scrolled past.
Oh no.
I had it pulled up. There we go. It's even highlighted. This question's from Cameron on Discord, and I want y'all's take on it because I've already given Cameron my 2 cents. But I'm planning on building my first workbench. While I love the Festool MFT, it's just not large or sturdy enough for me. My plan is to instead start with a traditional workbench capable of handling handwork and add some MFT functions, including a 20 millimeter hole grid on top and rail hinge supported by extruded T-slot front rails and back. I assume that that's for like a track saw hinge, if I'm reading that correctly. I've located most of the necessary components: UJK parf system, dashboard rail guide, McMaster 1530 rail, etc. But I'm just left with figuring out what bench design to base this all off of. I'm light on skill, and I don't want to spend too much money or time on building the bench, as I haven't yet had a chance to learn what actually works for me in terms of bench design. Any thoughts? So Vic would have been the obvious person to ask about this, but I know Vic would have been like, yes, go all in on the MFT style thing. I want to hear non-MFT style users' thoughts on this. Owen?
Yes, I read your answer. It is very good.
Sorry to ruin it.
No, it's fine. I kind of have two opinions on it because I use the MFT a lot, actually, but just on site. Mm-hmm. There was a few things I liked, definitely a lot of things I disliked. And I think going way back in I guess it wasn't that long ago, maybe like 2017 or something like that, I was doing a lot of installation work, and there's this guy, Ron Polk. Have you ever heard of him?
Yes, the Polk workbench.
I forgot about
That bench is super easy to build, super versatile, and it folds up and is like lightweight. So like if you feel like you're not going to use it in the future, you can move it. You could use it to stand. Like it's sturdy enough and it's well designed enough. And you also don't feel bad if you destroy it because it's made pretty cheaply, if I remember. But not that Baltic birch is, it was a lot cheaper back then, but you could use something else.
Yeah.
And, you know, clamping stuff versus having to have a bench dog is like screwing a stop to the side of it. It's plywood. You're not going to be too, if it was my first bench that I wanted to take seriously, I would probably start with something along that line.
Yeah.
Like a torsion box-ish thing. But working a solid wood top bench is very fun to get some joiner plane practice in, and, you know, flatten something up is nice too. But I would start with the plywood.
That's a great take. I like the take.
I don't know that I could beat that answer. I totally forgot about that bench top. But yeah, you could put that on any base, right? So you could have the combination of a really sturdy hardwood base with that, and then eventually, if you wanted to move on from that, change that out.
Great.
That's exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
Perfect answer.
Swap out the tops, swap out the bottoms. Like start sawhorses in that, then use that to build your base, and then use that to build your top.
All right, I'm gonna edit my answer on Discord. Because I am a fan of, there was a line in there that was like, I don't have the skill set yet, or whatever. I don't know what I want. And my take was just get any bench in there. Just do something. Start working. Don't overthink this. Don't overcomplicate your life. And just get to work. And I've started designing workbenches many times. If I built another workbench, I think I know what it would be, and it would not be like, it's not found in a magazine, it's not found in a book. It's a very Ben Storino bench. But I have been modifying my current bench to basically be that thing over the course of the last couple of years. So it's like when you're thinking outside the box, sometimes there's a box for a reason. Like we've all like agreed this box works for most of what we do. And if you don't know what you want and you're thinking outside the box, I think that's a dangerous area. So I was recommending Cameron, like, just chill. Why don't you just use any old workbench for now? Don't worry about all the doodads. But the thing that I like about your take, Owen, is it is a box. It is an established box. Just build the thing, and you're not reinventing the workbench. You're using an invented workbench. And
he does it like super friendly too. Like he sells the plans for very reasonable online, and then has like 100 YouTube videos. And I'm not always like the YouTube recommender, but if you are like a total beginner, I would recommend seeing somebody do it. Like taking a class, obviously, but nobody's teaching that class. Although maybe someone should.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, step up. Like I saw Mike's newish workbench that he's kind of designed, and that's like the perfect, you know, you don't need a Roubo until you're doing 17th century French joinery already, you know, like you don't. If you want it, build it, but
whatever makes you happy, do it. But
yeah. But don't start there. You're gonna just hate your bench and give up.
I dig your take. All right, that does it for this episode of Shop Talk Live. Thank you so much, everyone who headed over to the Shop Talk Live channel and subscribed. And please, please, please check out woodworkinginamerica.com. Check out finewoodworking.com/elearning. and get more information about Larissa's box class. And last but certainly not least, thank you so much to all of the Unlimited members out there. Y'all are the ones that make this thing go. We appreciate you. All right. If you are watching on YouTube, click that thumbs up button, leave a comment, help us juice that algorithm even more. If you feel called, a 5-star review on the podcast platform of your choice. We appreciate it. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode. Thanks for listening.